Another brilliant trucking experience and shit. So I had to get up at 3 in the morning because the planner scheduled this load for 4 a.m. So I get here right at 4 a.m. So did 3 other truckers. So I knew I was in for some pain and suffering right away. But then I get to check in and they're like, we don't have any room for you, blah, 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 wait outside, we'll come and get you. It's already been an hour. And,
Surprise, motherfucker.
Sorry, it's my ringtone. We have a trailer here that was supposed to be unloaded so that I could just drop and hook and be on my way. It's fully loaded. I looked and saw it's fully loaded. You know, I'm at a retail store delivering. So now I'm kind of stuck here. I drank lots of coffee, so, you know, it's not like I can lay down and go back to sleep easily. I'm sure if I tried, I probably could. I might have to take shit, though. So there's that. But, you know, it's moments like this that make the job difficult. Now, I know I'm bitching a lot because you know, I'm still recovering from the California debacle. But I do miss being free the way I was. You know, for 2 years I left trucking. Don't forget. You know, I've left this job and spent 2 years surviving on anywhere from 12 to 15,000 a year. And I had quit once before that to start my own photography business. That didn't, you know, I was able to sustain that for a year, but that was because I had a girlfriend that I lived with at the time. But, you know, well, that's great. And a door just opened up. I might have to go in and remind them that I'm here. And shit. But I think there's another truck about to pull into it. So, you know, I just miss the freedom, that's all. I know that I'm trading that freedom for money, like a lot of extra money. And I no longer think it's my intent to do trucking long term. I think I'm gonna bounce in and out until I just am unhireable, and then maybe go back to the gig economy. Hopefully by then things are the new normal or more normal or whatever fucking normal awaits us after all of this shit. So I'm, you know, doing the best I can to not quit right now. It's really, you know, I know there's worse situations in that. I've been through all of it over the fucking years, which is one of the reasons. I think the thing that's working against me is that I have the taste of freedom. You know, I know what it's like to be my own boss, to work my own hours, and to only have to earn enough money to meet my financial needs, which, because I'm minimalist, are fairly low. And if anything, this is making me really think about what's weighing me down, and I think ultimately my goal now is to downsize completely to where I can seamlessly transition to my Prius and transition back into a truck without worrying so much about external. I might maintain some things in storage, obviously, outside of this, as I do have a place to put my shit. It's just, I don't know. I want to learn to live with even less than what I'm living with in here. And I've already got a bunch of things on the chopping block that are not coming back out with me, and that I'm probably going to sell off at some point, and then use that money towards my emergency fund. But I think what my main goal is to build a nice financial pad that I can go out and stretch as thin as possible to lengthen the time. I don't know that I want to go 2 years again, but I think, 6 months here, 8 months there, that kind of thing might be a good path. And because trucking it's a hard life and a lot of people don't put up with this shit, I think it's always been easy to get a trucking job. As soon as if you pass the drug test and you haven't crashed your truck, you got a job, because companies are usually desperate and they don't really give a fuck as long as you can move freight from point A to point B. I've been rehired by the same company 3 times now, even after quitting under the most fuck you circumstances I could. Companies are used to it now. It's a revolving door industry. So why don't I just take advantage of that as a nomad and, get to enjoy some travel and get to enjoy some freedom interspaced in with the corporate slavery that is trucking. Now, corporate slavery, I still think trucking is providing a lot more freedom than a lot of other corporate slave jobs. So I can't completely knock it. I know there are people working jobs that are just absolutely atrocious, that are miserable, manual labor for shit wages, barely making ends meet. I know those jobs are out there and that people are working them every day and working way harder than I do out here, working way more hours for a hell of a lot less money than I'm making out here. Now, everyone has the opportunity to do this. It's just whether or not they want to give up their life, because you're living out here. There are local jobs, but then your local jobs become, very hard work for very long hours, and they do suck the life out of you to where you don't even want to do anything other than sit on your couch and maybe sleep. So I've been in both positions as a trucker, and I gotta say that it's not lost on me that I do have it better than a lot of people, especially right now with the pandemic and the lockdowns and all of that shit, putting people in bad financial situations, and just kind of watching things crumble in society the way they are. Trucking actually is the one thing that has remained constant and normal through all of this, with the exception of having to throw a mask on here and there. And if anything, the traffic's been not as bad. Bad in California, but most of the places I've been, the traffic is nowhere near as bad as it was because people can't afford to be driving around all the time. And a lot of jobs are gone. A lot of jobs aren't coming back. And the more we fuck with this pandemic, the more that's going to be the case. And then there's going to be, I don't have a load after this either. That's the other thing. I'm sitting here probably for a good couple hours to get unloaded. It might even be 3 or 4 hours to get unloaded. And, there's no telling how long that's going to be. When I see a door open up, I'm going to go and say, hey, motherfucker, can you get on the ball? But, there's going to be a lot more sitting, I think, in the trucking industry, to where I don't make a lot of money, where I make okay money by my standards, more than enough to buy my groceries and shit. My paychecks just keep piling up. because I don't do anything. You know, I haven't done anything. I think I've been to a restaurant once in the past. Oh, well, let me think. Yeah, once in the past 3 weeks of being out. You know, I went to the restaurant. I was going to go twice, but y'all know what happened with that. And it's really been, you know, is this what life is now? Is this what life has become? You know, one of you commented, and it was dead on, your comment. They wrote, "No wonder you're depressed." I don't remember who wrote it, by the way. Sorry if I forgot your name to give you proper credit. I'm sure if you look in the comments, you'll find it somewhere. But they wrote, "No wonder you're depressed. Traffic, Walmart, Walmart, traffic, Walmart." You know, only you could probably intersperse truck stop, which is just as miserable and expensive, by the way. You know, obvious rest stops are the most, like, they're like vacations for me. You know, like, you know, I get to walk in the desert and look at a sunset, but it's not the vacation I want because I can still hear all the traffic going on. There's sometimes sketchy motherfuckers in those rest areas that you just want to kind of just stay in your truck and not fuck with nobody. You know, and I don't know, it's a hard life that I can see why a lot of people won't quit their other, you know, lower paying corporate slave jobs. You know, I'm reading a book right now called Nomadland, and it talks a lot about the seasonal work that nomads do. In this journalist that wrote this book, I have some critiques of this journalist, but overall it's a good book, especially if you're thinking about being a nomad. It's very accurate with the way the life is. Like, this journalist actually went out for, I think, 2 months and lived the life, including the seasonal work to pay for it, which included Amazon, Camper Force, which is a miserable, dystopian, you know, I think $10 to $12 an hour job that provides you with a free campsite, supposedly, but you're walking 15 to 20 miles a day, working in the most atrocious fucking authoritarian environment you can think of, with young college kids lording over you, and the majority of that camper force is in their golden years that they should be retired, and they're doing physical labor that I, as a 44-year-old man, I think I'm 44, I have to do math now whenever I think of my age, but in my 40s, I would find taxing, and I try to avoid. You know, I don't like physical, manual, low-wage labor. It's just not my thing. You know, it's why I drive OTR. It's because I don't want to be in the trailer unloading the motherfucker. You know, and I try to remain sympathetic to the people that are unloading my trailer. I'm just like, I wouldn't want to do that, and I'm probably making more money than them. Now, it's not my fault. You know, I did my time to make the money I do. You don't start out in trucking making what I make. You start out at the bottom like everywhere else, and it takes good 2-3 years to really find your groove and start making good money. You know, when you're in training, it's like minimum wage almost, and you're expected to be able to pay your bills with that. It's, you know, if you have a home to go to, it's not very appealing to newbies to get into this, but you can do your time, and then as long as you protect your CDL and you drive good and you don't back into other motherfuckers' trucks all the time, and, you know, you can have that security of knowing that at any time you can hop in a truck. You know, even if you've been out for a few years, you might take a little bit of a hit in seniority or in time, But like I said, I took that 2 years off and hopped right back in as if I never left. Like, you know, that's how desperate some of these companies have become. They don't give a shit anymore. They'll hire anybody that can do the job. You know, I've been in orientation with people that had rollovers under their belt and shit like that. That used to be the death knell of trucking. Like, if you rolled your truck, you didn't get a job anywhere but the worst of the worst carriers out here. You know, the ones that'll put you in a rust bucket with fucking that's falling apart and say, hey, just fucking do it. And by the way, don't log this first 3 hours of your fucking day. You know, there's still those kinds of companies out there. You know, a little less so with the ELDs, but there's a lot of companies that cut corners at the expense of their drivers. And it's a difficult situation, a difficult life. When I jumped back in this truck because of the pandemic, a lot of you were happy. You were like, yes, this is going to be interesting and adventurous. And, you know, I can see that, you know, that I just don't want you to get comfortable with me constantly driving a truck. It's not my life goal. I don't want to be here for the next 20 years, you know. I want to claim in my younger years, in my 40s and 50s, before I hit retirement age, that's if I live that long. You never know with the shit I do. I want to intersperse some of my retirement early. So if that means bouncing in and out of the industry and getting to do some of the things I want to do, travel to some of the places I want to go, and just enjoy some freedom, as you know, which is harder now with the way things are. You know, there's only 4, maybe 5 free-ish states left in this fucking madness that we're in. So there's less places for me to go to have a normal, free, and peaceful, you know, time to myself. But I want to do that before I'm old and used up. And this book that I'm reading, Nomadland, is really hitting home for that. It's like, I gotta enjoy this while I'm still got the working years in me, you know, while I still got the energy to get out and do a backpacking trip before I get injured, you know, and it could happen any day as a trucker. Not to mention the bouncing around, coupled with the long lengths of time sitting on my ass, is not the best for my health, and I'm aware of that, you know. And then sleeping in truck stops, surrounded by idling trucks all night, and letting the air get sucked into where I'm sleeping, where I'm just breathing other truckers' diesel fumes and my own truck's diesel fumes. Or conversely, I just shut the truck off and open the windows and then suck the diesel air into my fucking truck, you know. Or if it's cold out, I can leave everything shut and just breathe my own CO2 all fucking day. Or, you know, it's you know, it's not a life that I want long term. So what I want to prepare you for in with this video and in my travels is, this is a means to an end for me. I will come in and out of the truck and take advantage of the way things are with the industry as much as possible. I might work for different companies in that process. You know, there might come a point where the company I work for now, when I walk in to get rehired, they'll be like, fuck you. You know, I'm not there yet. I'm not to my goal financially to where I'm just going to quit unless they don't give me my 2 weeks off. If they don't give me my 2 weeks off, I'm going to take a few months and, you know, live off of the money I've saved so far, which is, I think, close to, it's about $3,000, but when you take out some of the debts that I got to pay because of the car rental I did the last time, it's more like $2,500 that I have saved so far. But by the time I get back, I'll have $3,000 in the bank, And as a minimalist and stealth camping in the Prius, I could probably stretch that till October, maybe longer, depending on the income from my channel and my content creation, which would continue throughout this journey. So it's a matter of freedom versus corporate slavery for me right now. And right now I'm a corporate slave. I would much rather be doing something else than sitting in the parking lot of a retail store waiting to get unloaded right now after getting up at 3 in the morning to get here, you know, because some planner put 4 a.m. on the fucking thing instead of a window, because you can get unloaded all the way up till 11, and maybe the trailer that we have here would have gotten unloaded all by the time I got here if I had slept in a few hours. So there's that. And I think that's ultimately what I'm going to be sitting here waiting for, is for them to unload the trailer that's already in the door, which is fine. I'm happy with that, you know. But it's, you know, it's not something I want to do all the time. My new plan has been to bounce in and out of trucking as much as I can. My backup plan is to go back to what I was doing, and that's content creation and Uber. I think right now rideshare is too much of a nightmare with this COVID shit, especially in New York, where I would probably have to do it if I, you know, unless I transfer to South Dakota, which is something I'm struggling with decision-wise, you know, because it is an investment to go to South Dakota. It's going to cost money. I think it's $300 for the year for the mail forwarding, not to mention whatever fees for title, registration, transferring my CDL, which is probably pricey and involved in some way. I got to check it out, and I'm probably during my 2 weeks, I'll make the journey to South Dakota to, you know, try and get, at the very least, find out what I need to do and be prepared to actually do it during that time. It might still be a good move for me, and quite honestly, I'll probably do it anyway. The problem is if I become a South Dakota resident, then I'm locking in that's where I'm going to do Uber and Lyft instead of New York, and I feel like I'd make more money in New York with that situation, but of course I'd also be paying more taxes in New York, so it's a give and take. I don't know. Whereas South Dakota has no state tax, so I'd only be worried about federal taxes doing the Uber and Lyft thing in South Dakota, which they have there, you know, and there's not a lot of drivers working right now because of the fear, so I'd probably get a decent amount of business. But when the economy tanks, everybody with a car is going to be out there, and not a lot of people will be out spending money, so that's the other thing to think about with rideshare. So, well, I've done enough 5 a.m. babbling here. Just thought I'd update. Also, you know, on the way in here in New Mexico, there was some serious storm action, as you saw. And yeah, that was fucking scary when I went through that flash flood spot and it covered the windshield to where I couldn't see. I was doing 55 at the time, and I had to hit the brakes and hope no one slammed into the back of me. And it was just you know, shit like that happens out here too. And this is the easy season to drive. Winter is coming, and winter and mountain driving don't mix too well, and I don't know that I want to be in the mountains in the winter driving a tractor trailer. A lot can go wrong. I'm not scared of the winter, but you know, it's not fun, you know, and you make less money too because you got to drive slow. That's what a lot of people don't get. I can't go 65, 70 in the winter. There's going to be times when the roads are bad and I have to go 40 the whole way. And 45, somewhere in there. And I do that. You want to know why I do that? Because of all the rolled over trucks I've observed in the winter over the years, simply because they were going too fast for road conditions. You know, you're going down the fucking highway at 70 miles an hour because you feel confident you got 80,000 pounds. Well, what are you going to do when there's a car passing another car going 40 on snow-covered fucking roads in front of you, and you have to get on the brakes? That 80,000 pounds is going to become a ski. And then you'll jackknife and roll over and probably be injured or killed because of that. I know if this truck rolled over, I would be injured. You know, there's shit in here that would just fly around and hit me if this truck ever rolled over. So more incentive for me to drive safe. But you know, it is what it is. I don't want to spend all of my nomadic time driving a truck. So be prepared for times when I'm driving a Prius. Or maybe I'm in the little room again. I don't know, I don't predict the future, but right now my goal is to transition between truck and Prius as seamlessly as possible, because that'll help me be a better minimalist too. You know, if I can get my possessions down to fitting in the Prius, that's going to give me a whole lot of freedom and lower my financial requirements. You know, I also am thinking of trying to pay my phone off so that lowers my cell bill too. But the problem with that is these phones tend to lose their performance, you know, over a couple of years. And as a gig economy option, I would still want a decent phone. And of course, doing content creation, I need the best data plan I can get. Like even right now, I'm at 50 gigs, and who knows when I'll get throttled, which makes doing this shit a pain in the ass. But all right, I'm done rambling. I just wanted to kind of talk about things. I'm still finishing up that book, and I want to do a kind of a talking video soon about my thoughts on it and my thoughts on the way things are with our society right now and where they're headed. So that video might be next when I finish this book. I'm starting to get more into audiobooks because I'm tired of YouTube. YouTube's just feeding me the same bullshit that pisses me off over and over again, interspersed with some van life shit, which I do like to watch. But it's getting harder and harder for me to find things on YouTube that I enjoy. You know, I feel like the content has gone downhill. But there's still some content creators I'm into. Just not enough to constantly be watching YouTube. So I've had Audible forever. I've got like fucking 10 credits right now built up, because I haven't bought an audiobook in a while with my membership. So I'm going to be loading up on some books and some research on mainly the things I'm interested in doing right now, which is nomadic life, and also some stuff speculating on why things are going the way they are right now. I'm kind of interested in learning why we got here. You know, where we went wrong and how we can get the fuck out of it or stop making the same mistakes over and over again. You know, thoughts and shit. All right, that's enough of me sitting here in the dark with shitty lighting trying to talk to you. I'm gonna go see how we're doing with time. Have a nice motherfucking day. Shit. They better get me in here soon. I'm fucking bullshit. I might be able to take a nap. I'm gonna go in there and take a nice big shit though. Right in their fucking bathroom. Leave them a nice fucking smelly one. It's fun. Probably gonna get the COVID because I'm in the South. Have a nice motherfucking day and shit.